Hey everyone. So, for today, we're going to talk about how to write a B2B blog post. If you're a B2B writer, okay, especially in the software business like me, and I'm a SaaS writer and all that, we're going to talk about that, okay? And B2B stands for business to business writer. So you're writing content for other businesses, right? This is the type of writing. So I'm not going to talk about lifestyle writing or B2C, which where you're, well, a little bit about writing for, other customers and stuff, because I do actually talk about that a little bit. So I'll talk about that in the brief and stuff, but mostly it's B2B writing. I'm going to show you two of those, okay? So if you guys have any questions specifically about writing a blog post, ask them now while I get through this demonstration, because this is an important skill that you need to learn, and just something that if you're going to write online, this is the one type of content piece that is highly versatile and can help you land consistent work. I also want to direct you to something that I have for you guys. If you need more help with narrowing down your writing process, it is my writing a B2B $1,000 article process. It's behind the scenes. This really dives deep into how I get things started and write the post. You actually see me writing the post, how I source the research, how I put it into my post, keywords, all of that stuff. It also comes with a really handy workbook to help you find credible and unique viewpoints for your content so that you can get $1,000 for that article. Because even though I'm going to teach you these things here in this channel, the things I'm going to show you aren't necessarily going to amount to $1,000 article, right? Because there are certain things within that article that you need to make it high value. So if you want to learn that process, I encourage you to sign up to this masterclass. It is budget friendly for sure, and it will teach you the skills that you need so that you can start making good money. All right, so let me just go back to where I was. Okay. Hey, Nikki, glad you could make it. I'm sure you'll cover this, but how frequent should you post to the blog to build a following or viewing? Um, it all depends. Like, this is regarding client pieces. So if this is regarding my creator side of my business, which it seems like it is, how frequent should I post? If you want to grow your blog as a creator, as a blogger, then post weekly is the bare minimum to start getting views, to start getting page views, to start getting all of the traffic. Okay, once a week is the bare minimum. If you can do more, do more. Now, when I look at my Alma Kane freelancing blog, which is, on the creator side, I don't post that often because I have already built my, I guess, my legacy for the past decade. It's a 10-year-old blog, so I have a lot of content that is already getting lots of views. So I don't have to write as frequently. But for a new blog, which I have recently started a new niche website. So I was writing a post every single day just to get that initial page views, get those initial views. So that's my suggestion. Hopefully that's what you're gearing towards, Nikki. Let me know if that is not what it is. If it's for a specific client, let me know, because each client will have a different schedule for their blog content. Like I was saying with GoDaddy, they have lots of writers, dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of writers based on the country, the US GoDaddy versus a Canadian GoDaddy versus Australian GoDaddy. They'll have hundreds of writers. So they don't need content specifically from you every single week. Whereas my other clients want me to write pretty much 2 to 3 times a month. Because of the pieces that I provide and they're long form and they're high paying, they don't expect me to pump out content on a weekly basis. Unless they want me to write under 1,000 words, then I can give them weekly content. Great, Nikki. I hope that helped. Great. Awesome. All right. So the when you're writing B2B content, so business to business content, like I said, you're writing to other business owners, other marketers, some entrepreneurs, things like that. It could lead into the creator because creators are business owners as well, but that's the audience for your clients. You're going to have to, the very first step before you write that blog post for them is to familiarize yourself with that brand. When I got hired for Beehive, I knew about Beehive because I saw them on my LinkedIn feed. I was really impressed with the brand, but I didn't really know the brand too much. This was a client that I cold pitched. They accepted my cold pitch, asked for more information, and then they hired me. Okay, so this is that type of client. So I had to demonstrate that I sort of knew the client, that I wanted to work with them because of the growth potential that I saw, really. And so when they hired me, they gave me a lot of information to help me understand their brand better. One of them is the content brief. Now, their content brief is quite different than normal content brief. So, a normal content brief looks like this. This is what a normal content brief looks like. This is from my other client that gives me this, and that's enough for me to go by. It gives me the title, it gives me the description, the audience, and the keywords that are necessary, and how to structure the content. What is nice about this particular client is that it gives me actually the outline. Some content briefs don't get me that outline, although my clients are giving me the outline now. So I think a lot of B2B businesses now, if they want a solid content marketing strategy, an SEO strategy, they have to provide more than just the topic and the keywords. They have to actually give you the subtopics, the outline. Sometimes they'll give you the angle of the post. Okay, so this is what happened to me with my other content brief. So the other content briefs are going to look different, and they're going to be more or less detailed. So with my other client, with Beehive in particular, they give me a very comprehensive outline or content brief. When I first saw it, I was a little bit confused by it because, first of all, it's on a Google Doc, like as a almost like a blog post. It just was slapped on with links and things and tables and stuff. It was, and it's pages and pages, versus when you just saw the brief there, it's no more than a page and a half in a tape, like in a, I guess that's a table, I guess. So that's what I'm normally used to. But the content brief for the other client looks, I'm not going to show you it all, but it looks like this. Okay, so it gives it like in this format where I have to scroll and scroll and scroll to really look at it. Okay, so it gives me the URL of the post that I'm going to write. So they already have demonstrated that URL. They give me the title of it. They give me SERP competitors. Now, this is key where my other clients may not give me the SERP competition. This one gives me SERP competitors, and it gives me notes of what they want me to include. They want me to include ways to monetize the audience. They want me to include stats from their own stats. They want, and they give me, this is a link to their stats. They want me to talk about these types of stacks, like the ROI, how many are leveraging newsletters, things like that. And then again, here is the SERP stuff, more sources here, search intent, content angle, the content brief, how many words, 3,500, and then the outline. So they give me the outline down there. So that's what's normally the content brief. But this is information that some clients will provide you, so that you need to sit down and really map out your content for that client before you even write. So if you're fortunate to have clients that provide comprehensive content briefs, it is going to make your writing so much easier. This year, for some reason, I was like, wow, I am zipping through these blog posts. I am writing them instead of taking 10 days to write them. It's taking me 3 days to write 3,500 words. Okay. Like I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm thinking, well, yes, I do use some aspects of ChatGPT does help me with getting examples are so hard for me to get. So it gives me examples. Sometimes it gives me credible stats. It gives me some things that speed up my process, but it is the actual content brief with the outline that has really sped up my process. So I encourage you to try to find clients in that capacity. These are businesses, they can be small, but they have a content team. So you need to find those content leads and managers of those businesses. Then you'll have a good idea that they have resources like this. Okay. Businesses should also provide, if they give you a good content brief like this, they normally should provide you a brand guideline. Beehive has given me, they have like a private link with a whole bunch of blog posts that are privated for writers, and it's very detailed. It gives me lots of comprehensive information about how to write for them, their brand messaging, their brand audience, the type of content, if it has humor, if it has a lot of examples, if it's image heavy, all of that stuff can help me write better. Once I learn that, then I can write the content faster. Do you guys have any other questions regarding that aspect of a content brief? So familiarizing yourself with that brand. Now, you might be thinking, well, Elna, my clients don't give me that. I was hired and then they just gave me a blog topic and then I had to go with it, kind of thing. Yes, for the first like 5 years of me being a freelance writer, that's exactly what happened to me. I would get an I got frustrated with that easily. So a perfect example, and I'm pretty sure Zapier still does this. Zapier hires writers and they also do blog guest posting. So businesses go to guest post on Zapier, but they also hire writers. I was hired by Zapier and I was so excited because this is a well-known brand for my industry. And the first thing that that the editor presented to me after they gave me what their rate was and we hashed out a good rate was, I want you to pitch me 5 ideas. I'm like, okay. I am like, fine. So I pitched 5 ideas. Did not like them. Had to pitch 5 more. Did not like them. Pitch 5 more, 5 more. Like this went on for weeks. They could have just given me, like, do you understand? Like, I was so frustrated with this client because they wanted me to pitch an idea for their content marketing. Like, they talked about so many productivity, about tools, about small business, about large businesses, about social media, like so many. And I was like grabbing, like, okay, I'll try and find this. Like, I looked at all the content. It took me hours to just give them that 5. Like, I was so fed up with this client, and I've had clients like that, not to that detriment. Like if I pitch them 5 ideas, 99% they'll pick one of those. Okay. So that was easy, but just getting to that first part with that company was very difficult for me. And so I didn't like that process and it slowed my process. So once they picked that topic, it took me like 10 to 15 days to write it because of the iteration the editor was giving me, because of just they weren't satisfied. And it's because they did not have guidelines. They did not have a brand style. They did not have a content brief. Imagine if they had given me that, it would have been easier. They would have been more, they would have been happy with what I gave them because I knew exactly what they wanted. Right? Like those are the clients that I had for 5 years. Like those are the clients that they did not know what they wanted, but they wanted a writer that knew what they wanted. Like, that I had to deal with that, and you probably will deal with that. Hey, Nikki. Clients don't include a content brief, expect to write one. If you do have to include the research with their team as part of your process, and do you charge for that? For new clients, it all depends. Okay, so if I was to land a client that was like a startup, which I probably wouldn't, but if let's say I did, and their rate is like, I don't know, 10 cents a word, and they don't have a content lead, like I was working with the CEO, because of my experience, I could offer them, say, hey, you know what? I noticed that you're going to be putting up a content team pretty soon. I can jumpstart that process for you by creating a brand guidelines for you and the content brief. That's a whole separate project under copywriting that you can charge thousands of dollars for. Yes, you can be that person to set up their brand guidelines, to set up the content brief so that future iterations could be those things for the future for them. For sure, for sure. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't have the time to do that. I don't want to invest hours learning their brand, interviewing the CEO, finding out what they want, working, because if they don't know what they want and I can give them lots of options, it just goes back and forth. Like, I'm not going to deal with that, but you can. You can, if you have a good eye for that, if you have a good knowledge base of the brand, then you can probably work with them and they'll be happy with that. But for me, I don't like to just be thrown into a new brand and then just to figure it out for their whole entire business like that. I have my own businesses. Like, I'm not going to work with your business in that capacity, but you can definitely offer to write the content brief if they don't give you one. Some writers give the client their content brief, which I think is kind of backwards. I don't understand that. But I know there is some writer that when they on their website they were detailing the onboarding process, and they said once we negotiate a good rate, I will send over you a content brief. So I'm not sure if they mean something different, but it implied to me that they were going to send them a content brief of what they're going to write about. I don't know how that works. Good. That makes sense. Great. So I don't offer that service, but there are lots of copywriters that do, and they make good money. It's a good side income, a side service, an additional service you can provide. Go for it. If you're new, you need money, start offering these things. I'm not in that place, but as I was saying, in the first 5 years, I was getting clients that didn't know what they wanted, and I had to pitch ideas and I had to find all that stuff. So generally, most clients will accept if you give them 5 content ideas, they'll agree to one of them. And what's so nice nowadays is that you have ChatGPT to help you. Thank you for your transparency and your insights. It's something that we can't get into setting. Yes, I know. There's lots of things for sure. So definitely, if you want to pitch a client, you can definitely use help, right? So like when I was working with Zapier, ChatGPT wasn't on the radar, but like nowadays I can probably get some good content ideas because I use ChatGPT for my own creator side of my business for like my blog topics and stuff. I actually use Pinterest. I have other sources, and I have a blog, or I have a video on finding topics. Maybe I can update it and do a new one on that. But that does take time. That does take time. So once a client agrees with that topic and they don't give you a content brief, then you have to come up with the subtopics. Again, ChatGPT can help you with that. And I would use that. But again, you're going to take time looking at that and looking at the competition. So let's demonstrate that, because I wasn't really going to demonstrate that, but why not? Why not? Because you're probably, a lot of writers are in this position of having to pitch ideas. So let's just do my client, which is Beehive. So they do email marketing for creators. So I'm just going to, let's just play around. So I'm let's say, a freelance writer who writes about email marketing. I'm writing a blog post for Beehive, a newsletter platform for content creators and small businesses. I spelled that wrong. Small businesses. Give me 10 headline ideas without using a colon and are short about the latest trends in email marketing, like writing a newsletter, topics, um, um, best types of newsletters to know, and things like that. Like things like that. I want to give ChatGPT as much information about different ideas, because if I just said, give me content ideas about email marketing, all the headlines are going to be like 10 email marketing tips, 10 strategies to do email marketing, something, email marketing, something, email marketing. I don't want that. I want a variety of like topics within email marketing. So let's see if it understands this. It doesn't always, but let's just see. Okay. Interesting. Okay, good. So we have top email marketing trends. Boost your newsletter with these tips. That's a little vague, but I can dive deeper into that. Must know newsletter topics, best newsletter types for engagement, email marketing tactics to watch, writing newsletters that convert. That's nice. That would work nice for Beehive. Top tips for effective news and newsletter trends you can't ignore, email marketing. Okay, a lot of these are very similar, but from this list, I can find at least one idea that I can dive deep into it just to get some ideas. But I can have one about the trends, I can have one about types, and I can have one about how to write. Like those are 3 pitching ideas. That, let's say I give to the client, they chose the writing that converts. So with the writing converts, I can ask ChatGPT now, like, take this and give me an outline. And it's going to give me a very generic outline, and you can work with it and finesse with it and stuff. I actually do have an ebook where I show you all these processes. So I don't want to go too heavy into that as well, because it is actually a really good ebook that shows how I use ChatGPT. It's still highly relevant, even though it came out with like a new iteration, but it's my 15 clever blog tips with AI. So this really helps you how to write a blog post with AI to help you on the creator side of business. So I'll put that in there if you need help. Okay, so that's how I would work in that capacity. And then a lot of these clients who don't have a marketing team, I would build out my outline, and I would also look at competitors to see what they're doing, and then have it approved for them. Like, do they like it? Do they want more information? If I was going to go and do writing, okay. If I was going to do competitor analysis, then I would type in the topic here. And then we have from Forbes newsletters that convert. Here are some ideas here to include in my outline. Make sure that I have to talk about these CTAs, that I need to talk about the grade level of writing, that I need to add storytelling. A lot of it is storytelling here. Here is a HubSpot. I can look at this and get me more ideas of the subtopics. So they talk about the design element. I can talk about that if I wanted to. The urgency and the personalization are key points. All of this stuff I can look and see. Now, I personally don't look at competitors too much. But if it's a new startup and they need SEO and they don't have that capability, then I would do that for them. But a lot of my clients now that I have, they do that for me already. Like you saw, Beehive gives me the competitors. And I actually, when I write the post, I don't normally look at the competitors unless they tell me, like, you need to look at the competitors to write, like, to help you write this, which they did for my last post. But my other 2 posts for them, I never looked at the competitors, because for me, they gave me the outline, so I don't need to look at their subtopics. I don't need to look at the information. I know enough to write about it, kind of thing. But that's what you do. You would build it out, and then you would start the writing process on that. Another key thing, so this is another thing, especially if you're writing B2B software content like I do. Like I write for Beehive, which is software. My other client is a software, a course platform or digital marketing platform. I write in the software space, not always about software, but I'm on their blog. I need to know their products. And as a writer, especially if you're new, I would encourage you to take the time to learn about their product. So with Beehive, they encourage a lot of their writers, even in that brand guideline, they encourage you to sign up to Beehive, to start a newsletter yourself, to figure it out, like look at all the, not figure out, but look inside the user dashboard, get to know the product in that capacity, which I did. And they also, what's nice is with Beehive has a YouTube channel. So I go to the YouTube channel so I can learn how to do these things, what it means to add a segment to my list, how to automate my flow, how to do all these special things, how to monetize my newsletter, all of this stuff that I can learn through the channel, the videos. And so those are like explainer videos. And so it's key that if you don't have those brand guidelines, to start your research online. Find videos if they have videos. Find ads. They might be just doing ads. And so you can go to like the Facebook ad library and see if they have ads. So you can just type in Google Facebook ad library and then you can get into that. And then you can just research here. The company, like, let's just, let's do ads, and I'm just going to do Sephora since I know Sephora. Did I spell Sephora? Okay. So you can see, like, I type in the company and then I can see they do have ads, and that can help me figure out, first of all, what they're most, targeting right at the moment. What is their product that they want to market the most? And let's look at the copy here, some of these things. I can look, like, they value like these. What am I doing? That goes to my thing. And that's thing. I thought they're. Oh, I can copy the ad link. Let me see if I can see it live. No, I can't. Oh, here, view ads. The ad library has really changed since I've used it last, but sometimes you can just see the copy. This is all in a different language, it looks like, eh? Here, new bouncy and firm sleeping mask for skin so plump it bounces back by morning. So I can see some of the products and just get an idea of, like I said, of the brand. And I'm noticing that they have it in different countries. So like, it's a big brand that maybe they're targeting more the Italian audience than American. That can give me some idea about, how I can use that knowledge for pitching for my writing and things like that. Oh, hey. Is it normal for clients to ask for the draft of a blog as you work on it? Yeah, so when you is it normal for a client to ask for the draft of the blog as you work on it? Not as you work on it. I haven't had an issue of a client, unless you're taking a really long time to write the post, they might email and say, hey, how's it going? Actually with Beehive, they gave me the content brief and I didn't even look into it for like almost a week. And because it's on a shared G doc, they know that. So they messaged me saying, hey, have you had a chance to look at it? So, I mean, in that respect, yeah, I'm going to go and look at it now because they know that I haven't looked at it, so I'm going to get to it kind of thing. But that's the only thing. They wait for me to tell them that I finished the post because it's a shared G doc, and then they can go and edit it. So I haven't had anything where a client is like bugging me halfway through, and it's only if it takes me forever to do the posts and I haven't given them any kind of feedback. I wouldn't be too like needy. It all depends on the type of relationship they want with their freelancers. Like with my other client, I don't bug the editor too much because she's really busy. If I have a question, I will just ask a question and that's it. So I'm the one who's bugging them, but they never ask me like when are you going to get the post done and all that stuff. They don't give me a deadline either. But they know that I'll get it done, right? So I'm those are the types of clients that I love the best because they give me the freedom to do what I want, but I'm not taking advantage of them. I am getting the post done. Like that content brief that I showed you in the beginning, that was given to me 2 days ago, but I'm going to tell myself I'm going to start it in June. Like it's at the end of the month. I'm not in the headspace to write that until June. So then I can get it done that first week and send it to them because most likely if I write it now, they're not going to publish it until June anyways. The editor is not going to see it until June anyways. So I might as well just start it in June. So that's sort of my reasoning behind that. I've also developed some hand pain, so I need to take a break on the typing using my mouse as well too. So I need to give myself that break because I have been doing a lot of actually design. Is that hair? That's hair. Okay, so like I said, get to know the brand, use the tool if you need to. Like that's important. And then you're equipped to have the outline and to start writing the post. I can't go too much into that as well because it's all like in my process of writing $1,000 B2B article. But the way I write my post, just to give you some ideas, is I do a top down process. And that means is that I write from the beginning and I work my way down. Okay, so it's very hard for me to just scan something and be like, oh, really know about Pinterest marketing. I'm going to write this real fast first in this subtopic. I can't do that. I have to write the introduction because that gives me the angle of my post. That gives me the structure of how I'm going to write it. One of my posts, I related email marketing to dating. So I had to start with that dating story in the beginning so that I can work my way. So at the end of the post, it's like, wow, you went through your first date and, dating means you want to find your lifelong partner. It's the same with email marketing. You want to find those raving audience members, like I had to have that structure with writing. So I needed to start from the beginning. I don't know. Do you guys do the same? Like, do you find that it's easier to write top down, or are you the type of writers that has to write the intro, the conclusion, and then the middle? I know writers that do that. And then I have writers that just, if they get bored with one part, they just skip around and then they just write whatever in all different capacities. Like, I can't do that. I'm very organized when I'm writing. I have to sort of write top down. The other thing that I like to have is a dump file. That's a separate file where I sort of drop my research links, drop my little notes, LinkedIn posts that I see, anything I see online. I just have that accessible on a different file, like a different Google Doc. And so I use that and I can go back and forth on using those things. I also have my swipe file. So I have a swipe file for just core trends, stats, things like that in different topics that I write about. So that also helps me speed up the process. But I really like the dump file because it just like, as I'm doing my research, I can just dump the stuff there. Once I have that information, once I have the outline, then I can start writing the introduction and then work my way up. I am working on having a solid writing block. So for many years, I would write for about a half an hour and then I'd peter out. I'd get either bored or I get stuck and then I have to go do something else. Or a lot of times I get interrupted. So like I'd write and then I'd stop, do something, come back, write, and stop. It's usually like 30-minute chunks. Well, it took me like 10 days to write these posts. So I know that in order for me to get these posts done in 3 days or less, I need to have longer writing blocks. So I've been conditioning myself to write for 45 minutes, for an hour and a half, for 2 hours. My goal is to write for a solid 3 hours in the morning. If I can write from 9 to 11, that's half the post is done there, right? I can write about 1,000 words in an hour. So in 3 hours, let's just say it's not 3,000 words, but let's just say I've written at least 2,000 words. At least I'm going to write 2,000 words in the 3 hours there. Then half my post is done already. Like I don't have to worry about it. I can finish it up the next day. I can edit it maybe that day and it's done by the next day. Like I'm finding that if I have longer writing blocks, I can get through these posts a lot faster. And so that's what I'm conditioning myself. It does take work for me. I do lose sight, but that's where I can use something like, I think I told you in one of my lives for ChatGPT writing, I get stuck a lot in when I'm writing. And if I can get ChatGPT to help me finish that post or get WordTune to rewrite it to make it flow better, then I can move on and keep going and keep going. Like it was those things that stopped me before that I couldn't push myself. I needed to take a break because I couldn't finish that sentence or I couldn't think of the next sentence or the next topic. Now I can use something like ChatGPT to at least feed me some ideas, get my thoughts swirling and moving so that I can keep on writing. So that's been really helpful for me in writing these B2B blog posts because they are comprehensive. They're very detailed. They have lots of information. They have lots of examples and they have lots of screenshots. Those are things that comprise a blog post for the B2B audience. A lot of the content that we write about is intangible. We can't physically touch it. So we have to describe it. And so that takes an art, that takes skill. And again, something that I teach in my masterclass there about that process. All right, everyone. I think that's that. Unless there's other questions about like the writing part, I just wanted to really focus on that beginning stages of getting your blog post ready and then having that content brief, getting that outline, and then, like I said, the top-down process of writing it. If you want me to talk about editing real quick after that, once my post is done, I do run it through Grammarly. I reread it a couple times. I take a break. So for a good couple hours, I might come to it the next morning and read it out loud again. That I always find mistakes there during that time. And once I have it fully like done, then I can send it to the client. And I send that either through the GDoc or an upload or whatever with the images as well. So I do a several rounds of editing. Sometimes I'll get my husband to review it. I haven't lately because he's real busy and I am more confident. I remember in the first like 8 years of freelance writing, my husband had to read every piece of content. I just wasn't that confident. But now I am. I'm much more confident. I know I'm a good writer. I can run my stuff through Grammarly and, the editors are always happy with my work. So it was more of a mental thing for me. But that's how it goes. Once they edit it, some editors go through the GDoc and edit my content and they have me go and approve it. So I go do that. And then the client either does everything for me. So Beehive does everything and will pay me adequately like at the end of the month, or I submit the invoice. So my other clients, I just submit the invoice when it's done. And then they pay me within a couple days, mostly. There was one time where they forgot, but that was just a fluke kind of thing. Normally they pay me regular, like within that day or the next day. Also, awesome. Bleh. I'm like tired talking right now. I'm glad that helped you, Yolanda. Good. All right. I think that's that. I think that's helpful. I think tomorrow's the last day. So hopefully you guys come join me. We're going to have fun looking at these publications that pay up to $3,200. Like I was shocked when I was doing this research. I was like, wow, that's a lot. All right, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.